This week on Just Jason Keto, we're going to make Cheddar Bay Chaffles. So let's get started. What's up everyone? Welcome back to another recipe. So these chaffles are going to start with 1 egg, just under 2/3 of a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. And I've got some onion powder here and some garlic powder. It's about 1/4 teaspoon of each of these. And then I've got some cubed old cheddar cheese, and then I've also finely shredded some, which will come at the end. And then we've got some parsley flakes that's going to go in the melted butter topping for these chaffles. So we're going to start off by mixing up the egg and mozzarella cheese. Now this is a shredded mozzarella cheese that I actually chopped up even finer. I just find that it works better as a mix for the chaffles. So we'll get that mix going. This is your basic chaffle base right here. 1 egg and then 2/3 of a cup of the shredded cheese is going to give you 2 chaffles. So we're going to add our onion powder into here. Again, that's 1/4 teaspoon. Same with our garlic powder. We'll get that all mixed in. Again, this kind of thing, it's really to taste. If you want more or less of the seasoning, then by all means, put in as much or as little as you want. And what we're going to do is we're also going to add a little bit of this Redmond's real salt as well into the mix. Give it another stir. Doesn't really take very long for this to come together. You just want to make sure the egg and cheese and seasonings all well mixed up. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add this cubed old cheddar cheese into the mix. This will give us some nice pockets of tasty cheddar cheese in the chaffles themselves. Of course, we're going to be adding some cheddar cheese on top of the chaffles as well, as if they were sort of Cheddar Bay muffins or biscuits as they were. So that's the mix all ready to go. And while the dash minis are warming up, we're going to take about 1 tablespoon of butter and then some more garlic powder. Again, this is totally to taste. You know, we're looking 1/8 teaspoon maybe. And then we're also going to add in some parsley flakes to this. Again, this is how much you add is entirely up to you. You know, that was maybe 1/2 teaspoon. And then to this, we're also going to add some of the Redmond's real salt. So we can start cooking these chaffles. The dash minis are all preheated here. We're going to take our mix and split it up into the 2 waffle irons. Again, this mix will make 2 chaffles. And I did typically a chaffle mix uses 2/3 of a cup of shredded cheese, but I used sort of just under that because we are adding the cheddar cheese to the mix as well. So I didn't want to have too much mix, because if you put too much in the waffle irons, they will spill over and make a mess. So we'll get the last bit of mix into the waffle irons here. You don't really have to spread it out too much. It'll spread out by itself once you close the top of the waffle irons. So we'll close those up, and these will take anywhere from 4 to 5 minutes to cook. And this is what they look like when they were done. Now, because of the cheddar cheese, they did stick a bit. I pre-released them if you were. But yes, be aware that they may stick a little bit in the waffle irons. I don't usually put any oil on the waffle irons though, so because they are non-stick, but these ones did give me a little bit of trouble. But they still turned out good, nice and golden brown. So we put our butter and seasoning and parsley in the microwave just till it melted. Now we're just going to brush it on top of the chaffles here. Now I would just go as heavy as you can. you know, you really can't have too much butter when it comes to something like this. So I filled up all those pockets on top of the chaffles, because again, we're going to add some cheese on top of these and then melt the cheese under a broiler. And the butter did wind up sort of melting into the chaffles. So here's the finely shredded cheddar cheese that we had at the beginning. Again, if you really want to pile it on there, by all means. You really cannot have too much cheese when it comes to something like this. I probably had maybe a quarter cup of this. It was finely shredded, so it looks like a lot, but it's not really a lot of cheese. So we'll get that spread out on the chaffles. Now, what I did was I put these in my toaster oven under the broiler for about 5 minutes, and they turned out really nice and cheesy. As you can see here, cheese is melted. These chaffles are a little bit soft, but they smelled amazing. And the cheese pull on these, well, as you can see for yourself, it was really amazing. These were still nice and warm. And again, they smelled really good, so give it a try. I was really happy with the way these turned out. The taste was amazing. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Consider subscribing, and we'll see you next time for another chaffle recipe.